I'm 78 years old, and what I'm about to share with you will probably make you uncomfortable. Everything society has taught you about building a meaningful life is a lie. And the saddest part? The people who raised you, the mentors you trusted, the culture you grew up in, they either kept this from you or never figured it out themselves. I spent the first 54 years of my existence believing the same nonsense you probably believe today. I was convinced I had cracked the code. I had the architecture firm, the corner office, the awards on my wall. But at 54, something happened that destroyed every assumption I'd ever made. And what I've learned in the 24 years since has fundamentally altered how I understand purpose, loss, and what it means to truly exist. But before I reveal what happened, you need to understand my motivation. The reason I'm recording this isn't to sound profound or to boost my own ego. I'm doing this because my runway is getting shorter, and there are lessons you desperately need to hear while there's still time. Not for my sake, for yours. At 54, I received what oncologists call a stage 3 diagnosis. That's a clinical way of saying cancer had been silently growing inside me for years. I was reviewing blueprints for a luxury hotel project when my assistant noticed I'd lost significant weight. The biopsy results came back on a Tuesday. I remember sitting in that sterile office with diagrams of lymph nodes and my daughter gripping my hands so hard her knuckles went white. The oncologist said we'd caught it just in time. Just in time. I had just been told my body was trying to destroy itself, and they called it fortunate. But here's the thing, they were absolutely right. Because during those months of treatment with nothing to do but stare at ceiling tiles, I had a devastating realization. I had been sleepwalking through my existence. I wasn't genuinely living. I was performing, hitting milestones, measuring myself against everyone else's scorecard. And here's what still haunts me every single day. If the cancer had won, if those cells had spread just a little further, what legacy would I have left? Some buildings with my name on a plaque, a pension, a portfolio of accomplishments that would fade from memory within a decade. Let me expose the most dangerous lie you're probably whispering to yourself right now. I'll get to it eventually. There's always tomorrow. When things settle down, I'll finally pursue what I actually want. I watch people in their 20s, 30s, even 50s, and they're all reciting the same script. When I close this deal, then I'll be content. When I get that title, then I'll breathe. When the mortgage is paid, then I'll explore. When I hit 65, then I'll chase my passions. Let me spare you 54 years of anguish with one brutal truth. That magical day never arrives. You know why? Because the finish line keeps relocating. You land the deal and immediately you need the next one. You earn the bonus and suddenly you need a bigger one. You're perpetually reaching for something just beyond your grasp. And before you realize it, you're 75 years old, questioning how your life evaporated. I lived this pattern. I spent 32 years constructing an empire, only to discover when I reached the summit that I'd been scaling the wrong mountain entirely. And you cannot descend and begin again. Time refuses to cooperate that way. Here's a reality nobody shares with you when you're starting out. Achievement is a hollow ambition, and I say this as someone who accomplished every objective I set for myself. I designed buildings that won international recognition. I accumulated the wealth. I had the admiration of my industry, and you know what? It meant nothing. You reach your target, and for maybe 72 hours, you're euphoric. Then the sensation evaporates. You return to empty. Now you require a new target, a grander accomplishment, more applause. It's a treadmill that never stops. I had a colleague who passed 5 years ago at 71. Devoted 65-hour weeks his entire career. Established one of the most respected engineering firms in the country. Postponed every vacation, kept promising he'd step back next quarter. Next quarter arrived, and his kidneys failed. At his memorial, His daughter said my father built bridges that will stand for centuries, but he never built a relationship with me. Is that the impact you want to leave? Your torments won't center on your failures. They'll center on your inaction. I don't lose sleep dwelling on projects that collapsed or clients I lost. Those are irrelevant now. You know what consumes me? The sailing trip around Greece I abandoned because deadlines called. The friendship with my college roommate that I allowed to wither. The novel about my grandfather I always intended to write but never began. The recitals I missed because I was meeting with investors. These things devour you. The squandered possibilities, the paths never explored, the gratitude you never voiced, the leaps you never took because fear held you back. The people closest to you, your mother, your father, your oldest friends, you assume you have infinite moments with them. You're wrong. And one day those moments will expire. My mother passed when I was 48. We had an unfinished relationship, and I was perpetually too consumed to truly address it. I kept believing we'd have space to reconnect when my schedule cleared. That space never materialized. Stroke, gone within a day. And you know my deepest regret? All the Saturday mornings I didn't bring her coffee. All the occasions I was too exhausted to sit on her porch. All the small moments I let evaporate. There will not always be more. After my diagnosis, I transformed everything. Sold my stake in the firm. Started declining projects that held no meaning. Started embracing experiences I had deferred for 3 decades. In these past 24 years, I've absorbed more wisdom about existence than I did in the previous 54. What genuinely counts is almost embarrassingly obvious. Hours with those you cherish. Work that resonates with your soul. Collecting moments, not possessions. Building memories. Being here, fully present. I understand this sounds naive. When I was your age, I would have dismissed it. Right, but I have responsibilities. And yes, you do. I'm not suggesting you abandon everything. I'm saying, don't trade what's irreplaceable for what's disposable. Here's a question I need you to sit with, and I need complete honesty. If you stop breathing tomorrow, would you be at peace with the life you've constructed so far? Not would your obituary impress strangers? Not did you accumulate enough? Just would you be at peace? If your answer is no, then what exactly are you waiting for? What are you dedicating your hours to that's so critical you're willing to wager your single irreplaceable life on it? I'm 78 years old. I've been fortunate enough to remain healthy since that diagnosis. But every morning when I open my eyes, I'm conscious that I'm operating on extra time. We all are, truthfully. But most young people can't grasp this. They believe they're untouchable. They believe they have eternity. You don't. I have great-grandchildren, 2 of them, and when I observe them, I recognize the identical patterns I witness in most young people today. They're overwhelmed, they're worried, they're pursuing things that won't fulfill them. They're repeating the identical errors I committed. And I attempt to warn them, I attempt to transfer what I've discovered, but you know what? They can't truly hear me. Not because they're foolish, but because they're incapable right now. They're surviving in chaos. They can't perceive the patterns yet. They believe their circumstances are special, that the old wisdom doesn't apply to them. That's why I'm recording this message. Because perhaps, just perhaps, if enough souls encounter these words, someone will actually absorb them. Someone will chart a different course. Someone will sidestep the regrets that plague people like me every single morning. You're moving closer to the end. Nobody enjoys contemplating this. But you don't possess unlimited hours. Neither do the people you treasure. Your parents, if they're still breathing, they're aging every moment. One day, likely sooner than you expect, they won't exist. Your friends, your partner, your children, none of these connections last indefinitely. So, what will you choose? Continue postponing that conversation? Continue delaying that adventure? Continue convincing yourself you'll create space later? Or will you wake up today and start existing like your hours are numbered? Because they are. If I could travel back and counsel my 35-year-old self, here's what I would declare. Stop performing for people who are irrelevant. Stop sacrificing your well-being for your ambitions. Stop deferring happiness until someday. Stop requesting approval to live the existence you crave. Start visiting your parents more frequently. Start booking the adventures you fantasize about. Start attempting the things that terrify you. Start refusing commitments that deplete you. Start accepting experiences that nourish you. And above everything else, start immediately. Not next season. Not after this deadline. Not when you have more resources or more freedom or more anything. Now. Because I guarantee you the ideal moment will never materialize. Life will perpetually be chaotic and complicated and overflowing with justifications to delay. But if you delay, you'll awaken one day and comprehend you delayed your entire existence away. I'm 78. If fortune smiles, perhaps 8 or 12 more years, perhaps 15 if blessed, probably fewer. And I've made peace with that, because these past 24 years have been the most abundant of my existence. Not because I've earned more wealth, because I've finally begun existing with intention, treasuring every sunrise, honoring what counts. I've wandered through places I always dreamed of seeing, strengthened bonds with my children and great-grandchildren, explored passions I had shelved, released people I held bitterness toward, expressed I love you more times than I can count. I'm more content now at 78 with fewer years ahead than I was at 35 when I assumed I had endless time. That's the paradox. When you comprehend time is finite, you actually begin to exist. You stop squandering it. You stop delaying joy. You start manufacturing the right time. You face a decision right now, today. Continue existing the way you're existing. Pursuing achievement, postponing fulfillment, telling yourself you'll create space eventually, or awaken. Recognize time is depleting faster than you imagine, and the existence you're waiting to leave must commence now. I cannot make this decision for you, but I can promise you, you don't want to be 78 looking backward wishing you had chosen differently. Don't squander 54 years deciphering this. Learn from my missteps. Exist with intention. Honor what matters. Stop waiting for someday. Someday is today. It always has been. If this resonates, share this message. Leave your thoughts. Tell me what you're going to transform. Subscribe, because I have more wisdom to share and limited time remaining. The clock is ticking. What will you do with your hours?